You know, we all have our dream home and how we want to live. And I had that experience in my lifetime, so that's probably why I'm so content with my life now. I did have that dream life, a dream home, and now I'm living in reality, I guess, because I'm on a fixed income, and that requires simple living. I lived in my dream home for 8 years, and it was a home where you could have company. I would have parties all the time because the house was so big. It was a family home, and we had some really good times there. But that was during a time when I just never thought that I would be having to live a simple life as I'm living now on a fixed income. But when money stopped growing, I had to change how I lived, and simple living changed everything. Once you get on that fixed income, you have to start downsizing. And I downsized. I downsized to my beautiful home now, my trailer. That was my downsize. We had to sell the home, and that was in 2017. And so after that, I was in an apartment. And then when I found this place, I was like, this will be perfect for me. I can maintain it myself, and I can handle the bills all alone. So I just wish I had chosen simple living sooner, because living on a fixed income has a way of teaching you what really counts. And when the numbers don't change from month to month, you better figure something out quick. Every dollar has been allocated to other things. And every choice you make, you have to be careful that you're not overspending, putting yourself in a position where you owe more than you have coming in. But simple living on a fixed income is not about depriving yourself of living. It's about being intentional with what you're living with. At first, it might feel a little limiting as far as what you can do, as far as things you can plan for. But after a while, you start really noticing prices of things. When I had my dream home, I would buy clothes, I would buy things that I never even used. I can think of so many things that I never even used. And it was such a waste. It was such a waste that I didn't even think about. And now, living this simple life on a fixed income, I think about everything I spend my money on. And that's not a bad way to live. I mean, even if you have abundance of income or money, you should be thinking about what you're spending your money on, regardless. When you live in a simple life, you stop worrying about what other people have, and more about what is it that you need. What is it that will make your life a little easier? Or, you don't try and keep up with the Joneses anymore. You do what you have to do to take care of yourself. And you stop looking at what other people have and just start being grateful that you're still here, that you still have a home to live in. Simple living means learning to stretch out what you already have rather than stressing yourself out. It's like I go shopping probably twice a month. And normally I don't need anything as far as toilet paper, paper towel, soap, things like that. I don't need any of that stuff during that month. And I make do with what I have. My meals, I consist of whatever I get from the food bank. I don't make a habit of buying certain items to make certain meals. I eat what I have. I make do with what I have. I don't purchase things that I just want all the time. Speaking of food, when you're living simply, cooking at home becomes a priority. It really does. It becomes a priority. All that eating out is so wasteful. You're spending money on stuff you could cook at home, unless you're going to some really fancy restaurant. And again, you're spending a lot of money to eat. Eating is a necessity. Something we have to do is eat. But we don't have to be extravagant in our eating. Not all the time. We can just make simple meals at home. I mean, every now and then it's okay to want something, and it's okay to get that want if that's what you really, really have to do. And I know when, you want to feel satisfied with your life, and sometimes you do have to step out and go beyond what you normally would do just to feel like you're living the life that you deserve. I understand that. And a lot of times you just get comfort from routines you have. Waking up in the morning, opening the blinds, drinking coffee, making your bed, washing clothes. You become someone who just finds things to do that don't cost you anything as far as money out of your pocket. And when you're living on a fixed income, it also teaches you creativity. You learn how to do things that you may not have thought of before. Instead of buying something, you may borrow it. Because sometimes when you borrow things, you got to give it back to the person. But when you buy things, you might only need it one time and you bought it. So borrowing is a good thing to do. But a lot of time, the little routines that you set for yourself, they just get your day started. And they don't cost anything, but they add value to your day. They make you feel like you've done something productive. You learn to look for free entertainment. You learn to go to senior centers, and they have all type of exercises and everything. If I was more outgoing, I have really become an introvert. If I was more outgoing, I would go to those things and they get to exercise and do all those type of things. But I prefer not going out at this time. There's just a peace when you know where your money is going. There's a peace with that. When you know that you've paid all your bills for the month, and it may not be a lot left, but you can put what you can into savings. And it's a really good feeling to know that you have provided for yourself. Everything's taken care of that needed to be taken care of. And you're not stressed out because you're not trying to keep up with everybody else. You're living your life simply and peacefully. And you learn to just make do with what you have. And I know sometimes people can complain about, I don't have money for this. And I remember a time, I didn't have money to go here and go there, but I was more of an outgoing person, and that can be a little rough sometimes. So when you're on a fixed income, you do have to monitor your entertainment, your activities, because you don't want to spend money that you don't have, and then come next month or the end of the month, you just flat broke. Sometimes I know it's hard to go from your dream home to what you can afford after life knocks you down. But most of all, simple living on a fixed income, it reshapes your priority. And it makes you realize time is more important than anything. It's more important than the things you may possess. Time matters more than things. Experiences matters more than things. Going out to enjoy your friends, have company over. And that's something you can do instead of going out. A lot of times you could invite people to your home and, have game nights at your house. And maybe that'll get something started with other people so that they start doing the same thing. And that way you guys, the only thing you spend the money on is gas to get back and forth to their house. But life just feels so much lighter when you're not bogged down by excess, just having things around. That's why you want to declutter and downsize. So I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed before, and hype the video up, because simple living is something we should all learn to do sooner than later. whether you're on a fixed income or not. And if this video has given you some insight on things, think about in your life, what are you grateful for? One small thing that you are grateful for in your life. Leave me a comment, let me know what it is. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.